In June of this year, my wife and I and our two kids went on a trip to Merida, Mexico. It was an absolutely amazing trip, but what most people probably didn't realize at the time that were sitting with us on the planes and everything else was that this trip was the culmination of over 2 years of trying to get a home renovated in Mexico that we were excited about. And through COVID, through everything that we went through, we ended up walking into what I can only describe as one of my favorite places on earth. We'd seen pictures, we'd been updated, we'd been down there to pick out fabrics and furniture and all kinds of other stuff, but that was the moment that we truly knew that this particular property was ours. Now, we're lucky enough to be able to work over the internet, so we were able to stay down there for several weeks, and we got my family down there, my wife's family down there, several people down to enjoy this wonderful, wonderful place that we absolutely loved. And for those of you who follow this channel, you probably know that we've been through this entire journey. I've talked about the headaches, the positives, all about the city, about the beach that's close to it, everything in there that I could possibly speak to, I've discussed on this channel. If you enjoy that kind of content, you subscribe to this channel and you like this video. But today what we're going to talk about is something a little bit different, and I discussed it a little bit on the live stream that I had. So if you do want to be a part of those live streams, hit that notification bell. That'll let you know anytime that I do go live. But the last live stream, I hit on it and a few people had some positive comments. And so I wanted to kind of bring this to light. And that is, when you buy a place in Mexico, or honestly, you buy anywhere where you are not currently located full time, you start getting some interesting feedback from all kinds of different places. So let's talk about the positives and negatives of buying a place in Mexico, not necessarily from the owning of an asset side or moving their side, but some of the things you might hear and why you should never, ever, ever be afraid to stand up to it and be afraid of the place you're going. Let's roll the intro. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Alexander Howell. This channel is about travel and real estate, international real estate, that kind of thing. But we really do have a focus on Merida, Mexico, and the Yucatan Peninsula in general. And if you're interested in the news, traveling there, stuff like that, you can visit my website, yucatansun.com. And I actually just converted that into a news aggregation source, as well as the ability to learn as much as you can about it. There's all kinds of facts and features. I actually have my own recommendations on who to use if you choose to buy down there, renovate, and where to go and all that kind of stuff too. But yucatansun.com, check it out. It's free to use and I hope you enjoy it. But getting back to it, when I travel to Mexico, I'm probably like you in that there are certain people that are like, that's awesome, have a great time. You're going to Cancun, you're going to Puerto Vallarta. And my wife and I have traveled to those places, all of the hotel destinations with their wonderful all-inclusive resorts and beaches and everything else. But when we initially started looking at a place to go for the long term, we ended up deciding on Merida because it is one of the safest places, not just in Mexico, but in all of North America. In fact, there was an online magazine a few years ago that rated it the #2 safest city in the entire North Americas, coming in second only to Quebec City, and that place is cold. But even that being said, when we're up here and we say that we're going to Mexico or that we purchase property in Mexico, one of the things that I've heard that you might have heard as well is, oh, be careful, it's dangerous, it's a little scary. Have you seen the things that are going on? The drug cartels, look.
Plata o plomo.
I completely understand why people freak out, because especially if you have family, you want to make sure that they're as safe as they can possibly be. And especially when you go to these hotel areas, there have been stories that have come out where it looks negative. And there are places in Mexico where I personally wouldn't go. But I'm from Kansas City, Missouri, and I could personally tell you some places just within our city that I wouldn't necessarily want to be found late at night. And that's the same for every other city and every other place around the globe. Except I haven't found a single place like that in Merida. Now, that doesn't mean that there aren't those places. I'm sure there are. But I've walked at night, alone, by myself, not many people around, very dark, and never felt out of control. But I obviously hear this a lot when we say that we're going down. I've had people tell me that I need to bring a gun. That's a really bad idea. Do not ever do that. People have told me things like that. People have told me be on the watch, do this. And while I completely understand that you should absolutely make sure that you're taking care of yourself, stop being afraid. And like I said, I've been to the hotel areas. My experience has been, I've been to Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, Isla Mujeres, Cozumel, Playa del Carmen. All of those places have been absolutely wonderful. And while we have been told by locals and other people, hey, maybe stay in this area, it's never been something where we felt out of place. We've been to Costa Rica in places where we kind of got lost and everybody was super kind, very nice. always good to go. And Mexico is no different. Now, I haven't been to places like Mexico City, San Miguel de Allende, Cabo San Lucas. I haven't been to some of the border towns like Monterrey's not a border town, but I haven't been to Monterrey or Tijuana or anything like that. But I think that no matter where you go in this world, you should always just be mindful and watch out and just be careful about where you're going. I do that in my hometown, and we used to have a 2-lane road and a gravel road and cows down the street. And I'd still watch my back because that's the safe thing to do. But I want to say this for anybody that's looking at this and wondering, should I travel to Merida? I'm a little bit worried about Mexico, that kind of thing. One, I have one piece of advice. Don't be afraid. Be smart. And that's pretty much it. Now, a lot of this has come from, and I don't want to use this word in a negative way, but a lot of this has come from the idea of nationalism. And don't believe that I am the person that thinks that nationalism is a negative thing. I am a red-blooded American. I'm a flag waver. I'm all of those things. I'm very centrist when it comes to most things, but I'm very centrist, though, when it comes to most ideology, and I am a huge fan of traveling and of other cultures. And one of the times where I was the most offended in my entire life, being this flag waver and everything else, is I was on a job site when I was younger. I was about 17 or 18 years old. My brother is technically my half-brother, and he's half Mexican, and we were on a job, and there were Mexican roofers that were there, and they had been at work for at least an hour and a half before we had already gotten there. And there were a lot of people that looked similar to me that were really upset that those guys got the job over them. And all they could say was Mexican this and Mexican this and negative, negative, negative. And I've seen it. And my brother who's standing there, who is normally not a confrontational person, was just pushed over the edge. And he basically looked at these guys, and he was really in shape. So he was a pretty intimidating dude at the time. But he looked at these guys and was like, I'm Mexican. And just stared them down, because it was an offensive thing to say they look like that or they are this person, so therefore they must be bad. And that moment obviously has stuck with me for a long time. And I think about that constantly when I see things on the news and everywhere else where people are complaining about people from Mexico. Now, I do think that there is a much larger conversation to have here, of which I am nowhere near educated enough to have it. But one thing that I tell people constantly is, you might not like their government, you might not like certain aspects of a place, but their people are different. Their people are just like me, they're just like you. And that brings me to the other side of this, and this is the part that I touched on the live stream. I have also seen many negative comments, most of which I keep because I don't like deleting comments. You can say whatever you want to say to me, I've got thick skin. But I have seen a lot of negative comments that are basically the quote-unquote gringo go home kind of comment. People who get on this channel, they see that we've bought a house in Merida, Mexico that we absolutely love, and they have all kinds of negative things to say, and it really hurts, but I get it, because I've seen the other side too. We see it constantly on the media here, they have their opinions there, it is what it is. But let me tell you this, and like I said, people are not governments, and people are not whatever swath of individuals you're afraid of from that particular country, whether it's ours, theirs, anywhere else in the world. The people that are there, 99% of them are amazing, good people that are just like me and you, and they want to go somewhere, and they want to work, have a great life, make sure that their kids are taken care of, their family's good, and we're awesome. And I could say that from here, from Mexico, from Europe, from Asia, from Africa, anywhere in the world. The people are good. And I always try to tell people, try to be the person that you want others to be. If you see somebody here in your city, in your state, and you run into them and they're having a little bit of trouble trying to communicate with somebody and you have any ability to help out, just try to help out. It's the easiest thing in the world, and it costs you absolutely nothing outside of a little bit of time. And it's time that honestly couldn't be better spent doing anything else. And like I said on the podcast, and I 100% believe this to be true, I've run into people that get frustrated that I can't speak Spanish as fluently as I would like. I am getting better, but it does happen where there is a miscommunication. I can't say what I'm looking for, is what it is. It's the same thing that happens up here. Number one thing to learn, and I tell my kids this every time we travel, a smile is the universal language. If you're smiling, and you're like, hey, I'm here, I kind of look like an idiot right now, your country, and we're just trying to figure things out. Smile, whip out Google Translate, get it on your phone, type out what you're trying to say, and then communicate. Negative situation averted. But that's what we're dealing with. All it is about kindness and about smiles, about all that kind of thing. And here's the deal. This isn't a lecture. This is mainly talking about the positives of travel. Because no matter where you go in the world, people are afraid of what they don't know, and you see that all the time. If you go into a restaurant and you don't speak the same language, you kind of fumble or you worry about things, that kind of thing. Calm down. Again, get Google Translate on your phone, download that. It's the best app in the entire world, quite literally, and relax. type out what you're looking for, communicate that way. When people see that you're smiling, having a good time going into their establishment, working with them, it's a very positive situation. Also have a credit card, because it seems like if you're just going in to order something, or you're in a convenience store and you bring up a couple of Red Bulls, sliding the credit card is way easier at times than cash. Also, lesson for those who don't know, if you're in Mexico and you go to a Six, S-I-X, they don't take credit cards, so make sure you bring pesos. Little quick tip. The other thing, like I said earlier, there are places that are 30 minutes away from me that are scarier than anywhere that I've been in the world. And I don't mean scarier in that it's a horrible situation and people are firing guns at all angles, but we've all heard about stories in bad areas. We've all heard about stories overseas. We've heard about stories here. You can watch the local news in your town and see horrible things happen all the time. And yet, especially for me, when I look at Mexico, there's one person that disappears, and that's just the end all be all. People will not go to Mexico, and that's ridiculous. You should absolutely explore and see the world. It will make you appreciate so many different cultures and not be afraid of what lies outside of your own domain. There's some amazing people in this world. I've traveled to Italy. We're about to travel to Portugal. I did this and then this. That wasn't good. We traveled to Italy. We're about to travel to Portugal. I've never been to Portugal. I'm super excited about it. I can't wait to go to Japan. Tahiti, obviously. I mean, my personal thing is I want to go to Antarctica where there are no people, but there's an Alexander Island, and I think that sounds pretty neat. But there are all kinds of places around the world that you need to travel, figure out, do those kind of things, and you owe it to yourself to do that. Sticking in one corner, wait, this is sounding really familiar. It's almost like it's my favorite quote ever. Let me refer to Mark Twain, because I think he said this better than I ever could. Travel is fatal to prejudice, bigotry, and narrow-mindedness, and many of our people need it sorely on these accounts. Broad, wholesome, charitable views of men and things cannot be acquired by vegetating in one little corner of the earth all one's lifetime. And it's 100% true. So when somebody says to you, don't go to Mexico, it's scary, don't go here, it's scary, and you just want to huddle in your own little place in the world, try to crack out of that egg. Because it's the most important thing that you can possibly do in your life. Stop listening to those who would keep you in fear. You need to absolutely be careful. I would never tell somebody to travel and just think, I can be out at 2 a.m. doing crazy things. No, absolutely not. You can't do it in Vegas, you can't do it in New York, and you can't do it in Playa del Carmen, or Merida, or Cabo San Lucas. You can't do it in Siena, Italy. That's just a thing. Nothing good happens after midnight. Some things could happen after midnight, but nothing when you're out in the street.
You naughty, naughty.
If you're thinking about Mexico and you're scared of Mexico, don't be. It's a wonderful place, full of amazing geography, fantastic people, all kinds of history, museums, different cities, beautiful areas. Don't be afraid to go to one of our closest neighbors. It's that or Canada, and Canada is really cold. And I know a lot of you that follow this channel are from Canada. It's really cold. Go to Mexico. Have a great time, enjoy, and just be at peace knowing that you are in a place that as long as you smile, try the language, and work with everybody that's there, you're gonna have a wonderful time. Don't be afraid. So, ladies and gentlemen, the lecture is over. I apologize if that's what it sounded like, but I've just gotten so many comments on my YouTube channel and had so many different conversations in our live streams that I really wanted to get that out because I absolutely love traveling, and I don't want people to be afraid of it. I don't want people to be afraid of Mexico. There are obviously places where you might not want to go. That was the reason that I wanted to have this video out. I really appreciate you guys kind of sticking with me. We have a lot of things going on. The content will continue to build back up. When I was in Mexico, we had a lot of stuff to kind of push out to you guys. I hope you've been really enjoying that. But at the same time, when I got back, I realized I have a wonderful audience that's here, and so I have been trying to create a lot of information for you guys. For those of you who weren't on the live stream, I've got a members-only site that I'm working on right now. It is not currently live, but it will be soon. YucatanSun.com. YuCatan Sun, SUN.com is now back to being live. There is a news aggregator similar to what it was before, so you guys can go check that out. You just have to go to yucatansun.com/news or just click the link that says news. I also have the recommendations feed, and I am looking forward to hearing all of you guys so we can continue to add to the recommendations. There are going to be a lot of things that are added to that site, but it is also now a truly focused travel site for people that are looking to go to the Yucatan Peninsula. Now that also means that you can pretty much travel anywhere, but everything is kind of designed around people who want to go to the Yucatan. So it has information about Yucatan, about Quintana Roo, Campeche, all the different areas around there. So check out yucatansun.com. I hope you guys enjoy that. Obviously, if you want to communicate with me directly, all of my information is right down below. 816-727-7740 is my text number. Alexander@alexanderhowell.com is my email. And if you just go to alexanderhowell.com and click contact us, it just sends me a direct email as well. But guys, at Alexander from KC is how you can follow me on social media. I've seen a huge uptick in Instagram, so thank you guys for following me there. And if you do want to become a member or a patron, all those links are down below. It's like $5 a month or something like that to get exclusive content, and that will also filter into the members only side of our site. So again, thank you guys so much for being here and staying to the end. Again, if you are still here, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, and as always, peace.